Hey guys, welcome back to the Thrifty Christian YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about your pressure pot and what to do if you have like a slow leak or a steady slow leak. Maybe it's coming from the seal under here, or maybe it's coming from one of your fittings, or just anywhere in general that it may leak from. So the solution to this, I'll tell you in just a second, but first I want to tell you what I used when I assembled my fittings. I used this thread lock number 42 liquid. It's blue. I used all that on my fittings here. The only place that I didn't use it, and the only reason why I didn't use it there, was because I forgot to remove this part here from the base down here, down there, that part right there. This was actually in there, and I forgot to remove it. I just added this regulator part here on top of it, and then realized, nope, it's not going to work. So I had to pull it all back apart. But that was 24 hours after I had already put these together with the liquid thread sealer here. So I had to use Teflon tape down here. Now, when you buy these pressure pots, this hole right here, this threaded hole, for some reason, it's really, really loose. The threads in there aren't tight at all. And I wrapped that thing really heavy with Teflon tape, and it did not stop the leaking. I had to go back and use the thread lock on top of the Teflon tape to finally get a lock on it. But before I did that, I was in a hurry because my daughter was only here for the weekend, and we wanted to, we did these molds here, and then we wanted to hurry up and try to do some resin pours in these casts. So here's the fix, and the only way you're going to be able to fix this is if you have a air compressor with a regulator like this on it. So how this works is basically like this. This is your open and close valve, right? So in this position, it's closed, meaning no more air can go into the system. When it's open, of course, air can travel into it, right? So let's just say that you've got a leak somewhere, all right? If it's leaking, the way to maintain your pressure here is by leaving this open and allowing your tank down here, your pressure, your air compressor down here, allow it to be the one that regulates the tank pressure up here. So in other words, I'll show you. That has about 50 pounds of pressure right there. I'm going to simulate a leak here, okay? And I want you to watch the valve here, or the gauge. So I just simulated, let's just say it was a very, very slow leak. But watch what happens. The pressure comes right back up, because it's being regulated from down there. So if you had a slow leak on this thing, you would never even notice the needle move if you're using this part to regulate your pressure pot. I hope that's clear for you guys. Another thing is, another tip, and I learned this from using an Instapot, actually. This seal underneath here is rubber, and I noticed when I was using our Instapot, when we cook in our Instapot, it's always better to wet that seal a little bit before you put it on and clamp it down. For some reason, the moisture helps create that seal, and that'll reduce any leaks that you have from around this area from the clamps. And again, to search for leaks, just use soapy water. Either brush it on your fittings down here as well, and everywhere, to look for leaks. But that's how to solve the problem of a leaky tank if you can't maintain pressure on it. Because there's nothing that says that you have to disconnect this hose and then shut the valve off and leave it sit like that. There's nothing wrong with doing what you're doing here. I'm going to leave it like this at all point in times. I'm just going to make sure all my pressure is released when I'm not using it. But this is the way I'm going to operate it. Even if it did have a leak, it wouldn't matter to me because it's not significant enough to drop the pressure low enough. So it'll always rebuild, if it does. So guys, I hope this helps somebody out there. God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next one.